Good morning and welcome to the ADHD 2023 online conference, day 2. I'm Dr. Lidia Zylowska. I'm a psychiatrist, faculty at the University of Minnesota, and an author of 2 books on mindfulness for adults with ADHD. I am going to lead you in a morning practice. And for those who were able to attend the morning practice yesterday, we will review some of the concepts about what mindfulness is, and then I will lead you in a new practice called the RAIN practice. This is especially helpful practice when there are intense thoughts or emotions, and mindfulness practice helps us be with those intense emotions in a new way. So what is mindfulness? Some of you may be joining morning mindfulness practice for the first time. So I want to review what it is. It's talked about in many different ways. And one helpful way is to think about what mindfulness is not. And here, especially for those who are visual learners, I have a picture that captures that oftentimes we are not mindful, meaning present or here, in the here and now. We're often caught in thinking, planning the future, thinking about the past. We may be ruminating, we may be distracted, and often this happens automatically. So we talk about this being an automatic pilot mode when we're doing things without full awareness. Well, mindfulness practice is another way of being with experiences, is meaning being with full awareness, with bringing attention to the present moment and noticing more broadly what's happening around you, and very importantly, what's happening inside of you. And why is that important for ADHD? Well, mindfulness, as you're doing this shift from automatic pilot to shifting more into noticing the present moment outside or inside, it's very much a training of attention. Noticing where your attention is, where you want to move it. So it's monitoring of attention, it's moving attention, training it to stay in the present moment. So you are training that attentional muscle. You also are learning to practice non-judgmental attitude. So very much a training also of how we meet experiences in the present moment, particularly how we meet the experiences inside, our thoughts and feelings. And we talk about non-judgmental attitude, but also an attitude of curiosity and attitude of kindness and compassion. Mindfulness overall, when practiced, it can create more space and more ability to respond versus react to our thoughts and feelings. And that's really the crux of what self-regulation skills are, is to have more choice in how you respond to stressful situations, to difficult situations, how not to react impulsively, but thoughtfully. And these skills are really important when we deal with emotions. ADHD is known to have difficulties with regulating emotions. When you have ADHD, it's not uncommon to experience big emotions. They can be positive, like excitement, but there also may be negative emotions. Sometimes those negative emotions feel very driving and impulsive. There can be impulsive anger, but there also may be other negative emotions such as fear or shame, and they're very difficult. And so it takes skill how to be with those emotions, how to not to push them away or not to be overwhelmed by them, how to learn from them, how to respond in a wise way to those emotions. So here I have a picture of being, in a way, lost in intense emotion. So being kind of wrapped up in that cloud or that reactivity that's happening both in the mind and in the body. And yesterday, when we did the mindful morning practice, we did a step practice, focusing on sounds, breath, and body, which are anchors to the present moment, as a way to move away from that busy cloud up here, so becoming more present. And often that can help create some space from the experience. However, when it's a very intense experience, an intense feeling, this other practice that I want to introduce you to, called the rain practice, can be very helpful. And the rain practice, it's really a reminder of how to be with emotions. Each letter will tell you what to do, and we'll go over it in a moment. But here, what this practice is all about is that you move a little bit away from the emotion, so you're not completely lost in it, but you also are able to be with it with a little bit of a space. You being with it with a wider and more compassionate perspective. You are learning how to observe the emotion, how to notice subtle aspects of the emotional reaction, and you may end up recognizing patterns and working through emotions. Very much what happens in therapy. But here you can start applying mindfulness practice to also increase your own awareness of emotions and learning some skills around it. So here it is. Here's the practice called RAIN. Each letter, again, is a reminder to what to do or how to shift. So the first two letters are about recognizing and allowing the emotion to be. So very often there may be a feeling in the background, we're pushing it away, or maybe we are kind of overwhelmed and driven by the feeling. So the first steps are to recognize, maybe name the feeling, give it a name like anger, fear, disappointment, and have the intention of accepting or allowing it. You may not like that the feeling is here, but it is here. So can you allow it and accept that it's here, so you can actually learn from it? The next step is the letter I, is to investigate. Investigate how you are in this moment with these intense feelings or emotions. And I have a little reminder here that we investigate with curiosity, care, and compassion. You may investigate what thoughts or beliefs are present, what feelings, not just the first obvious feeling, but maybe some other layers of feelings are present. It's not uncommon that there may be anger and fear right next to each other. And noticing what's happening in the body. What physical sensations or reactions are you noticing? Emotions live in the body. So it's we can be with emotions, but by noting what's happening in the body. And that process of investigation often lends itself to having some space from the reaction. And we can deepen that sense of space by reminding ourselves with this letter N of this practice to not identify with emotions. It's a set of reactions. Here's an emotion. It doesn't have to define us. It doesn't have to be the truth of the situation. Sometimes we react and then we learn other aspects of the situation. So it's being a bit of a scientist of, here's this emotion. Here is what I'm noticing. I'm having this experience, but I don't have to be defined by it. So you're not personalizing the experience. And in fact, if you're meeting your experience with curiosity, care, and compassion, you are nurturing yourself in that moment. Sometimes the nurturing may also be more explicit to say, what do I need now as I'm having this feeling? And learning to take some steps to really help yourself with what's going on. So I'm going to use a bell to start the practice and a bell to finish the practice. So I invite you to think of a situation, maybe a recent or from the past, when you had intense feelings and maybe a difficult experience that you would like to work through a bit. And usually it's helpful, especially if you're doing it for the first time, to pick an experience when the feelings were noticeable, but maybe not at the highest intensity, something that's more mild to moderate intensity. So you can learn how to be with it while practicing mindfulness. So you may be sitting or walking. It's often helpful to kind of rest for a moment or pause for a moment to do this practice, taking some time to relax. If you are sitting, relaxing your body into a meditation posture that feels comfortable, get alert. Sometimes we use the term of having a posture of dignity as a way to help us sit in the meditation in a certain way. And taking a few deeper breaths to connect with the present moment, to connect with yourself. Here, I'm going to use the bell for us to start. So as we start the practice, bring to mind a situation that brought some negative feelings for you. Maybe recall the situation, what happened, what was said, how you reacted, what feelings came up. If it's helpful for you, you may close your eyes or keep them resting in one spot. And now take a moment to recognize what's present for you. Oftentimes, as we bring up a memory of an event, some feelings come up. We remember the feelings or thoughts that we had in that moment. Sometimes that's difficult, and if you notice that there's not a lot of feeling, just recognize what is true for you in this moment. Maybe there's a sense of just feeling neutral about it now. And whatever you're feeling or noticing, practicing accepting what is happening for you right now. You might not like what's happening, especially if there is a lot of feeling coming up that's negative. But allowing it to be for the time being, so you can notice and learn from it. And now we take some time to investigate your reaction or how you are right now. Noticing any thoughts that may be present. Noting any feelings or emotions that may be present. And checking in into your body. Oftentimes, emotions are expressed through the body. For example, if there's anger, there may be pittiness, feeling of a pit in the stomach, or kind of tightness in the throat. Other reactions with other negative feelings. And everyone's a little different. So noticing what's true for you. And if you're not noticing a lot of reaction, again, noticing how your experience is, not judging it, simply being curious, compassionate, caring with yourself. If you notice thoughts of judgment or criticism, doubts, you can notice them as thoughts and bring the intention back to kind of understand how you are during this practice, how your experiences are in this moment. Practicing not identifying with, not personalizing your reaction, your feelings. And by being kind and compassionate with yourself, nurturing yourself. That's especially important when there's a sense of shame or criticism that comes up. Sometimes that comes up with feelings. And this practice is something that the steps are not linear. Sometimes you kind of run through the rain steps more than once, noticing, recognizing what's present, allowing, investigating some more, especially in the body, practicing not personalizing the experience. Also remembering to connect with the breath as a place to connect with when things are too intense. For some people, it's noticing the bottom of their feet connecting to the ground as a way to feel grounded, especially if the experience you are remembering, or maybe if you do that right after something happens, when there's still quite a bit of feeling and pain and intensity. It may be helpful to notice the breath, notice the ground. As you practice being with your feelings. And as we end this practice, if this resonates with you, you can put a hand over your heart as a way to signal a sense of care and compassion for yourself. And this is a gesture that can be used throughout the day in many moments of your life as a way to offer yourself compassion, self-compassion. Even if you're not able or in a place to feel like I can practice silently and do the full rain practice, simply recognizing, I'm having a heart moment, checking in with yourself, reminding yourself to nurture yourself, and putting hand over your heart can really shift your experience. And this is a signal to end meditation. You can always choose to sit with your experience longer than what we did just now, or maybe make the practice a little shorter, more of recognizing, accepting, allowing what's happening, doing a little investigation, checking into what thoughts and feelings I'm having, how's my body, and then reminding yourself not to identify with the feeling, not overly personalize what's happening, nurture yourself with compassion. So in many ways, mindfulness practice is heartfulness practice, especially in how we are with our difficult moments of pain or suffering. We're practicing to bring kindness to it. We can learn more from those experiences. We can, learn whether what we're feeling is teaching us something about the situation, the relationship, ourselves, and from that wisdom, you can, from that knowledge, you can decide what else do I need, or what else do I need to change, or what do I need to do? Perhaps it is talking to someone more about it, maybe writing it out, maybe deciding what you would like to do next time this happens. If you're curious more about mindfulness as an approach to ADHD, or in general, how to help the stress or the anxiety that often comes with having ADHD, the emotional ups and downs that often come with ADHD, there are two resources I've created. A book, which is a self-help book called Mindfulness Prescription for Adult ADHD, as well as a book for clinicians, which was written by also with a colleague, John Mitchell. And there's also a YouTube channel that's fairly new and has some audio videos and others of different practices, including the rain practice that we just did. The books are based on the program that I developed with colleagues at UCLA called Mindful Awareness Practices, or MAPS, for ADHD. This program has been now studied in several studies as being helpful for adults with ADHD. And this picture gives you a general intention of the program is to start with practices at the beginning, session 1 through 3, of practices that help you move away from the automatic pilot mode. Really learn to watch and monitor attention, redirect it to the present moment. Use the 3 anchors to ground yourself in the present moment and learn how to not be so distracted, so lost in busy mind and thoughts. The later part of the training, sessions 4 through 8, the intention here is to move inward and now apply that observing with more space to your inner experiences, deepening awareness of what is happening for you in the present moment, and thoughts and feelings, reactions, and learn how to respond in a skillful way. So you're very much learning self-regulation skills. Here is the YouTube channel I mentioned. Both has both little introduction to what RAIN is, as well as the actual practice. If you wanted to check it out and hear it maybe guided in a little different way. And here are some other resources where you can keep exploring mindfulness. There are many apps, Headspace, Insight Timer. UCLA also has a Mindful Awareness Research Center that has its own app, and ADA, the Organization for Adults with ADHD, also has a group where you can practice mindfulness with others. Mindful Magazine can be a source of inspiration and connection to mindfulness. Inflow app is another app that has brief mindfulness practices, and I have other resources, other tools for you, and books that have been created by other colleagues at the conference handout. So please check that out when you have a chance. And with that, I want to thank you for participating in this meditation practice. We focus on intense negative emotions, and that's when RAIN is very helpful. But you can also play with that and notice your emotions across the spectrum, from happy, playful, neutral to maybe slightly negative feelings. And that may happen many times throughout the day, that we have pleasant moments and unpleasant moments. So catching those moments, recognizing the feeling, accepting how you're feeling, investigating a bit, how is this pleasant feeling in my body? What thoughts and feelings do I notice along with this pleasant experience? And also not overly attaching to that experience, and not personalizing the feeling. So you have a bit of an equanimity with both positive and negative feelings. So again, you can play with this practice, try it at different points throughout your day, and think of it especially when things are difficult, intense, and you need some help in how to be with those feelings, how to move away a bit from those feelings and lessen its intensity. Again, thank you for being here, and feel free to reach out with any questions, and check out some of the additional resources. Take care.